the District of Columbia comes out ahead in that scenario. And by the way, I forgot to mention this before, but this is modeling, just economic modeling. They are not considering, like the REMI study does, the environmental benefits of the carbon tax. We all know that's not zero. But you see what they're trying to do here is they're trying to set up this argument that even if you don't believe in climate change, a carbon tax can pay for itself. And in fact, in this scenario, it does in Florida and Wyoming. I can't imagine why our politicians aren't more alive to that, but anyway, there it goes. But that's why they do it this way, right? Capital tax, good for Florida, good for Wyoming, not so good for the others. Reducing personal income taxes, this is kind of a tough sell for almost any kind of state. But this is the one that I think is really interesting. This is the carbon fee and dividend proposal. What do you do if you collect a carbon tax and then you give it back into every household in a lump sum proposal? The redder you are, the tougher you're taking it. Florida and Wyoming are taking it in the shorts. Virginia, all the kind of states around Washington, D.C. are tough. The brighter it is, the less hard hit you are. And look at the whitest states on that map. It's West Virginia and Mississippi. And then there's the next group of states that are also not as hard hit. South Carolina, Kentucky, Arizona, New Mexico, Utah, and Idaho. Why is that, you think? Well, why? People, I mean, why? Why are these states not hurt as much?
Well, because carbon intensity is tied mainly to income. Would that be why Florida's hard hit? You have greater per capita income?
Carbon intensity tied to income.
I've heard that when Danny talked about...
Yeah, kind of. But that doesn't explain, for example, let's see, Wyoming's not that rich. Arizona's pretty rich. Anyway, pretty close to what this gentleman said. Anyone else got, what does that dividend do, you think? That dividend check that would come out would be such a boon to the poorest voters in West Virginia and Mississippi. It would overwhelm the energy costs for many of them. Not all of them, right? If you're a coal miner kind of living on the edges in West Virginia or Kentucky, you're still going to be worse off. But the vast majority of the poor people in these states, that dividend check means so much to them that it would create a lot more economic benefit. Am I on time there? I am starting to run a little bit. All right, I'll wrap up. All right, let me just do this. This is where I want to wrap up, though. So far, I've been telling you that the economic benefits of carbon fee and dividends seem kind of dubious. We should really be making rich people richer. Here's the part where economists don't know, and admit they don't know, about giving money to poor people. We really don't study that enough because it's hard to do. But what we can do is take some guesses. What we know about that we don't measure very well is something called the multiplier effect. If I give Tom $1 and he goes home to Toronto and spends that dollar, you'd have to convert it, of course, but he goes to the hardware store, buys something. The hardware store goes out and buys something. And that dollar gets spent over and over and over again. By the time I get that dollar is finally kind of dissipated, that dollar's been spent 5 or 6 times. And what that really is income 5 or 6 times over. So if government spent $1 on Tom, he would go back and spend it. It's essentially will have created $5 worth of income with that $1 of government expenditure. That's called the multiplier effect. Some multipliers aren't so large. You give $1 to Ned, maybe he just socks it away, and that doesn't do anyone any good at all. That's not income at all. There are ways that we can guess at the multiplier effect of different policies. This is 2008, in the midst of the economic recession, and we thought about a bunch of different ways to stimulate the economy, different ways to spend government money. And these were the multipliers that Moody's estimated, a guy named Mark Zandi. So in other words, one of the proposals was to make the Bush income tax permanent. The multiplier effect of that was pretty low, 9. You spend $1, you get 29 cents back. You could have temporarily increased food stamps. That would have been huge. You spend a government dollar, that comes back in the form of $1.73 of income. So what I tried to do was couch all of these different proposals in terms of one of those four things: increase or reducing capital taxes, reducing labor taxes, reducing sales taxes, and carbon fee and dividend. And this is what I found. The ones that have the lowest multiplier effects are the ones that act like a corporate income tax reduction or a capital gains tax reduction. Right? So they might make the economy work well, but the multiplier effect is actually pretty low. You're not getting the best bang for the buck for it. Next up were the labor taxes. Okay? Temporary across-the-board tax cut, temporary payroll holiday, permanent extension of the return of the minimum tax patch, make Bush income tax permanent. This is the effect of reducing personal income taxes. And, you know, if you look at those red lines, they're kind of on the low side, too. The temporary payroll tax holiday looks pretty good. You're getting more than $1 back for every dollar you spend. This is carbon fee and dividend, what I think. The refundable lump sum tax rebate or the non-refundable lump sum tax rebate, that's money that's coming back at a better than even payoff. The thing that is actually the best of all, is the thing that I can't figure out how to do, is to essentially reduce sales taxes in a way. And what I thought was the closest to that was to temporarily increase food stamps or to extend unemployment insurance benefits. That is the biggest bang for the buck. But this is exactly what we don't know. These are estimates based on a full employment model, so you can't say, you know, do carbon tax, carbon fee and dividend, and then do that. It doesn't work that way. Economists don't know how that works. What they do know is that they're probably underestimating it, but you know, we're just not there yet in terms of the economic model. We don't know how much better carbon fee and dividend would be than reducing corporate income taxes or capital gains taxes. So, you know, where do I come out? I feel like we don't really know, but we have a very strong intuition that giving money to poor people would provide a boost to the economy. How much we don't know, but it would provide some sort of a boost that we can't quite measure. What I kind of usually retreat to, though, is, you know, you've seen this before. This is, I think the former Secretary of State George P. Shultz coined this. It's not a tax if the government doesn't keep the money. That seems to me the most compelling case to make. It's not really a tax. It's kind of, you know, collecting a carbon tax, but everybody gets that money back to kind of to spend as they choose. And maybe even beyond the number, maybe even beyond the economic model, and this is the most powerful thing you could say, is that this really isn't a tax. So anyway, that's all.